thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Welcome to our monthly critique.
Hey,
Okay.
so we're recording now.
Yes.
How are we starting
we
this
are.
thing?
And I'm in bed.
I'm on my chair.
Uh-huh.
I'm in the
So-
dining room.
We watched the movie. I'm just gonna get right to the point. We watched
Yep.
the movie because I follow this murder TikTok, and the guy was like talking about how that movie is like the exact personification of how a serial killer would entrap a potential victim through through the manipulation that we have. Like, you know, we don't want to be rude, we don't want to come off as rude or crazy to others, and sociopaths and psychopaths use this to their benefit.
Right. The uncomfortability through this whole movie
Oh my God.
definitely makes you be like, well, this is how I get murdered. Of course, 100%.
It's palpable. It's palpable.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I would have done all of those things.
Right, exactly.
Right. So let me get to the gist of the story. The film is the movie's filmed from an iPhone perspective, like a Facebook Live kind of situation. And he's driving.
Wait. We should probably say what the movie is.
I thought I did. My bad.
So we watched Creep. It's a Netflix movie. I don't know if it's a Netflix movie, but it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, yeah.
And it came out in 2014. If you wanted to know, anyway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this movie with my ex, and we've been separated and divorced for over 2 years. So like, I saw this movie probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
On Netflix, and like when we were like sort of watching all those scary movies all the time.
Right.
And this movie pretty much like creeped me out. Like the title of the movie Creep it's perfect.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Right.
But, okay,
so,
good. So it's like a documentary style movie.
Right. But it's like filmed from a different perspective. And this was like really innovative because it was before the whole COVID thing. And during COVID, a lot of the movies that were being made from that like Zoom perspective, or the that camera, the iPhone camera perspective, to give you a more personalized experience.
The idea though is that he's a videographer.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, he's not using his phone. He's like using like a.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
A video camera.
Yeah. Like I just like picture him like carrying around like a video camera all day, you know? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So he's going towards a mountain town, real quaint area. And under the premise that he's been hired to do a job. He's being paid this like $1,000 to film one time, and it's just like a real simple thing. He can't believe his luck to get, landed a situation like that.
Right.
So he goes to the place and there's no answer at the door. First of all, it's the steepest set of stairs to reach the.
Right.
It's like a chalet, right?
Right. It's like a cabin that you would get if you were going skiing, or like at a lake in the mountains at the Finger Lakes, or somewhere, anywhere.
Like somebody's second home.
Yeah, definitely a second home, like a little cabin situation. But it's nice. It's nice-ish.
Right. And it's got like you cannot run away staircase.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's so many steps.
Yeah, I wrote a whole lot of steps to the car. That's all I said. And then there was something else I wrote, and I'm waiting for you to mention it.
The other thing too is that it really feels isolated. Like it feels like the neighbors aren't really close, if there are any at all, and it definitely feels like I would be creeped out being by myself just in general, just because it's like an isolated location.
Exactly. And when he gets there, he's like really creeped out by the whole situation because he's like, they're not answering the door. This is very isolated. He's aware of how creepy the situation is.
Yeah, definitely.
Right from the jump.
Yeah.
So so he's getting ready to leave, right? And he's like texting the guy. Of course, the guy's not answering. And he gets back in his car and fucking the dude shows up at his window and scares the shit out of him.
So
And you.
just before, as he's going to the car, going down the steep steps, he observes the axe on the way down. There's like an axe just sitting there, and I was like, And I actually put axe with an exclamation point on my notes. I was like, yep.
Right. Because the axe is just like, you just picture how serial murdery the whole thing is. And there's an axe there.
Well, and the thing is too, is like an axe in a cabin in the woods could be very inconspicuous, right? Like you do need an axe if you're going to have a fire, like, you know.
Exactly, right? So, yeah.
So you do have that level of like, am I being paranoid? I'm probably paranoid. Yeah.
Yeah.
This asshole jumps out at you and you're like, fuck you.
Right.
We ain't cool like that, bro. We ain't cool like that.
Right. But he also like is very childlike and innocent. Like, oh my God, I didn't mean to scare you, kind of. You know what I mean? I was just having some fun with you.
Fuck that.
So if you said something to him, you would look like a total dick.
Right. Because he is kind of like, he's like, puts on this air of like, I'm just a nerdy guy. I'm the fun and crazy guy. And this is why I'm annoying, but I'm, you know.
But I'm harmless.
I'm harmless. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, so manipulative.
Yeah.
So he's the creepiest dude ever, right? He's all dressed in black, fucking long Speedos, like
Under Armour, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like it was just weird. Like, why is he dressed all in black? Why is it gotta be like Speedos? I don't know. Then he gives him a hug. And I was like, okay.
Me. Absolutely. See, that's what I'm talking about. Fucking huggers, man. They're weird.
Right? And that's like, to me, that's the second weird thing, right? The whole first, like, I'm like, okay, so he jumps out, he's dressed all in black, then he gives him a hug, like, right? And I was just like, oh my God. And the guy was uncomfortable. Like, at first you don't know names, so I'm gonna say the guy was uncomfortable, and he was like, oh, visibly uncomfortable, and he was like, oh, I'm just a hugger, is that not allowed? And he's like, no, man,
fuck that.
Yeah, so he let that go too. So he's already letting down his guard like that, you know, like letting him invade his personal space. Which, how many times have we been put in that situation where somebody's invading our personal space, but we don't want to make them uncomfortable?
Yeah, it happens here every day in like little micro ways, and it really, really, really sucks.
We are primed for the picking.
Right, Cindy.
And then those bear paintings. What'd you say?
It's a little muffled. Sorry.
My sound?
Yeah, Dana's sound was a little.
That's because she leans back in her chair.
Yeah,
she's sorry. I'm trying to be comfortable. Can I be comfortable? Can I live?
I'm laying in my bed, so.
All right, go ahead.
That's
much so better. Those bear paintings bring me back to serial killer artists like John Wayne Gacy, how he had like his clown paintings and shit. Like, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a serial killer thing.
Right. I definitely made a note about the bear paintings. I was thinking the same thing. And also the nice guy part, I put that in quotation marks because I was like,
what about the nice guy?
Just that he's a nice guy, and I put it in quotation marks because it's like, no.
Well, and the other thing too is like, your grandma could have that weird art in her house, like in those like cabiny type of places, is like, it has weird art, you know, like it's everything has got this level of like, is this creepy or is it just dorky? you know?
Right, right. The entire movie has this vibe of will they or won't they?
Right.
And
right,
it's
right.
just like this thin, very thinly veiled sense of something's gonna happen, or it can be explained away as something normal.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Until
And-
a certain point, pretty quickly it gets weird, but like
Right, it gets heavily weird, right? So, but
Okay.
he also has an explanation for that. So he explains that he's a cancer survivor. He had liver cancer,
right.
and it's starting to spread now to his liver, right? So he's been given months to live.
Okay. I know
And-
that he had cancer and then he got better and now he has cancer again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it came back with a vengeance, basically.
Right. So he's been given months to live. His wife is pregnant, and he wanted to do a little video like in the movie Life, where Michael Keaton is dying and he's like
Right.
videotaping the last moments of his life for the
Right.
kids. So he explains that it's his childhood home. And he says that, the cancer was brain tumor. He has a brain tumor. He has 3 months to live. He's married. He's got a wife that's pregnant. He wants a video diary for his son, like the movie Life,
Right.
right?
Yep.
The guy that he hired to videotape doesn't seem to be completely okay with it, but he agrees,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. He's like, it's a weird thing, but like, I kind of get where you're coming from, and
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
so
like
sorry
he
this
gets
is
it.
happening to you. That sucks. Like,
Mhm.
but how are
Right.
you really supposed to act in that situation? You know?
Exactly. Also, it's a lot to like reveal to a stranger.
Right.
And it was like weird. And then he pays him up front $1,000 and he hugs him again. Now he feels obligated to him because he's given him the cash. So he
Right.
feels obligated. Wouldn't you feel obligated
Yeah.
to provide a service and
Yes.
and be less likely to be like, no, man, this is too weird for me. I'm out.
Right.
He's already
Yeah,
been paid.
I mean,
Gotten-
definitely.
Yeah, and it
Sure.
hasn't gotten to the point of weird where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm leaving. Weird yet.
Right.
Right. It's
And
just
that's
under
the,
the
like,
surface.
That's the underlying question the whole time is like, at what point does this get too weird for you?
Too hot to handle. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he hugs him again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he knew how uncomfortable he was, right?
Right.
Also, he's super chipper. Like he is just high on life. That
You-
shit creeped me out.
Yeah, you don't trust those fucking people. Those
No.
like, oh my god, no.
Right.
Settle down. Stop.
Exactly. Then he gets the ultimate level of weirdness. He gets into the tub. He's naked.
Mm-hmm.
They take a tubby.
And I think that's when I would say that's too weird.
See,
I'm
and
Right.
asking for that.
but
I
then
think
he
at that
even-
point,
He even sort of makes it justifiable though, because he's like, I'm not gonna be able to bathe my kid, and we're gonna do tubby time. And I used to do tubby time with my dad, and you're like, okay, that's weird, but also kind of sad, and so, you know, like you're like, okay, I guess it's fine. And then when he like starts picking up the invisible baby, you're like, no.
Right.
Mhm.
So he gets in the tub, he's naked, and I'm like, wow, this dude just keeps pushing the boundaries.
Right.
Mhm. And then he
So
kept
next he's in the
calling-
tub.
Yeah, he's in the tub. It called the baby it. And I called
Well,
called
yeah.
that.
Right. Well, but I was gonna say what Dana said about getting in the tub with tubby time with his dad, and how he's like, when he was little, he's like pretending that he put his kid in the tub, like he's like he physically picks him up and puts him in the tub, and like it's so weird. And then he's like pouring water on his hair, on the pretend baby's hair, and pretend washing his hair, and I'm like,
really weird.
huh?
That part was really weird. Like,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was
So
like-
I was like,
It was a little like, okay, you're sitting in the tub, like if it like to the point that it got, I could see you being like, we would do tubby time and this is how it would be, and like maybe talking to the camera, like even that is very weird. Okay, I'm like saying that's very weird, but also like I could see it. But when he starts like mimicking, like I was like, no, no, this is so bad.
Right. Hang on a second. I gotta tell Russ something. So I'm gonna put myself on mute and stop the video. Just mute, okay?
I'm
Talk
gonna
amongst
just
yourselves.
pause.
You can start recording again.
There you go.
All right,
we're-
so
Tubby
go
time.
ahead. We're at tubby time. Yes.
So how do
he's
you feel about
pretending-
tubby time, Cindy?
No, that's
You not feeling it?
I mean, I get it. I get if this was a legit situation, I get it. But I think as a child that would finally see the video, I think even as a
Right.
child who would understand it, you would have them watch it maybe older, a little older when they can actually get it, and they would be like, my dad was a fucking weirdo.
Right, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Also not though. Also not because it could have been legit. It could have been. It's this is so weird, but also just under the cusp because parents
Right, it's
bathe
like-
their kids all the time.
Right. It's so you're like, is this weird or is it not weird? Because it feels
Right.
weird, but like
We all have
No.
a tubby time experience.
have
You know what I'm
we
saying?
all got to bathe our kids. And if I was dying, maybe I would be like, I wish I would have got to do this thing with you. I love you so much. And this is an
Exactly.
experience that I don't get to have with you. You know, I get it.
Right. So every time it was just like, am I overreacting or is this like
Right.
complete? You know what I mean? Like it was just so
Definitely.
perfect for that the entire movie. So then he looks at the candles like that are all around the tub, and he starts to say, "You." He starts to say, "You like fire," and he's pretending to have a baby on his chest, and this is all happening in the tub. He's pretending that the baby is on his chest, and he's rubbing the baby's back, and he's like, "Oh, you like fire," and you're like, "Okay, serial killers usually start out setting fires, and
Right.
then escalate from there." So you're like, is he saying this because he's I was like, what is happening here?
Right.
But then he's like being gentle with the baby, and I'm like, huh.
And you're just like
Thoughts?
thinking, if I'm the mom of this baby, then I would just be like, I'm just gonna just dump this tape in the fire and be like, yeah, your dad died. It was sad. Sorry. He was a great
Fast
guy. You
forward
would've
this
loved him.
spot that doesn't
Right.
look like weird.
Right. And this is all within the first few minutes of the movie, folks, right? So then say again?
Like 5 minutes into the movie. Like it's
I
not
know.
even
I know. So then he gets super dark and he ducks down in the water and says, I could just end it right now. And he goes underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like under there, like he's killing himself, causing the guy to like feel panic. And then he fucking jumps up and scares the fuck out of the guy.
and you are like he's like looking into the tub and you're like,
Right.
dude.
Right. He's like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then, and you're like, oh my God, no, this has officially made the turn for the worse, right?
Right.
But then he fucking jumps out of the water, scares the fuck out of him, and says that he's just joking and he was trying to lighten the mood because it had gotten too dark. And we're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that explains it away
Right.
once again.
No.
And then
it
you're
does
like
not.
always right, but you're always thinking, well, this guy's gonna die, so like he can do whatever the fuck he wants, like he can get away with more than the average person.
Right.
And hence the reason why I actually put on the side of my notes, I wrote Saw movie, because it kind of took me back to the movie Saw and how that guy had survived cancer and now he was testing other people for their survival.
That's
And what they
true.
would do to survive. And so I was like, is this movie gonna take me to that level? And
Right.
I sat back and waited to see if it did.
All right. So
we'll
then
get
it seemingly feels like, okay, we're back to normal, right? He's back to normal, whatever. Then he takes another leap into weirdom. And he goes into his closet and he sees a wolf mask that he calls Peach Fuzz.
Crazy.
Right.
Insane.
And he sings say that again?
Insane.
Yeah. So then he sings the Peach Fuzz song, and he sings it while he's wearing this wolf mask. And he says that it was his dad that came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which
that
is like,
that whole thing is fucking weird. And you're like, okay, he's creepy and his parents were creepy. They're like a weird, creepy whole family of creeps.
And
right.
here's the thing, I never went with believing that the family were a bunch of creeps. I kind of
No?
never went there. No, I just assumed I was like, oh, he's a liar.
Oh, okay.
That was my thinking. I was
I mean,
like,
like, I didn't really start thinking he was a liar until he tells the Peach Fuzz story about his wife, which I'm assuming you're about to get into.
Oh, yeah.
that's
Well,
later
I'll get
on,
to that.
though. That's way later on.
But with this Peach Fuzz mask, he leads the guy into the bedroom.
Right.
And like, this is where he's gonna get it. This is where he's gonna get killed. As you as the
It's
watcher.
gonna start. Yeah, it's gonna definitely
Right.
start.
Mm-hmm.
And he's showing him hats, and they're both wearing it. And I was just like, that is weird, dude. Like, weird.
Yeah.
And then so he keeps taking him to, so they're in the bedroom and everything, and then he starts talking about this like special place that he wants to take him to. So then he takes the camera guy to a body of waters called Las Aguas Milagrosas, and it's like a deep into the woods, like it's in the middle of nowhere. He is
Like a blue
literally
hole.
being led to the second location.
Yes.
He's going
Right?
to the third and fourth location. I mean, because
Oh yeah,
going to the mountains in the first place is the second
Yes.
location.
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. So he turns and he turns to him and asks, "How's your heart, buddy?"
Right.
And you're like, "Okay, like how's your heart?"
Fine. How's yours? Cancer ridden?
Right.
What the fuck?
That's a rare question. That's a weird question.
Right.
So they go into the woods, and this dude just takes off running. And they're like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and me as the camera guy at that point, I'd be like, no, no, I'm not
Right,
gonna
but he
chase you into
goes-
the woods,
Right. He goes with his camera into the thick of it. Like,
into the thick of it.
right. He goes, there's no path, right? There's no path. There's no way of him getting out of there. He doesn't
Listen.
know the area.
I follow people into the woods all the time, but there's like rules about it. Like you stick together, you have water, you like follow the trailblazes. Like you don't just like
Right.
run after a person who's already creepy and being creepy into the woods.
Exactly.
Even
So
I have
he-
limits.
Right. So he leads him to the middle of nowhere. The guy's like lost. And he jumps out and scares him again.
Again.
And then he turns the camera on him,
No.
on himself. I'm like,
Probably- when he started with like the hat stuff, I probably would have been like, as the camera person, listen, man, this is a video. It's supposed to be for your kid. Why don't we just pretend I'm not here and like let me film you, and like this isn't about me. Let's just let me like get you in your element, and like
Right.
not interact with me at all.
Right,
I would
right.
redirect him to like not interact with me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But that guy was just like very people pleasy. And I don't know, just seemed weird.
Go ahead.
It says we have 9 minutes remaining.
Just it'll just give it a minute. If it'll
Let's see if it'll give me an update. If
Yeah.
not, then I
Okay.
might have to just marry the two videos. It's all
yeah.
right.
What were
Okay.
you gonna say, Cindy?
Hmm?
You were gonna say something?
I can't remember now. But go ahead. No, I think it was just about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he says that's what it feels like when you're going to die. It's a near death experience
No,
when you get
bitch.
jump scared like that.
No.
And then he says for a
cannot agree
second
with
there, right? Well, he says for a second there was a glimpse you wanted to kill me. like in his
That I
eyes.
agree with. That I agree with.
But he says to him, he's like, nah, I wasn't, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? That's like what you would say to anyone you want to make peace with,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Cause like for me, when I get jump scared like that, I swing. Like don't like fall to the ground and cower. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like I like immediately swing. That shit scares me. I don't like it. I'm generally
go ahead.
I'm generally fight or
Right.
flight. I'm
Yeah.
usually fight in those situations, especially if I'm like already creeped out. Like you've already like pushed me to that level where I'm already fucking like my adrenaline is up. I'm ready to swing. Like the minute someone jump scares me, like I'm swinging, bro. You're not even gonna wonder if I wanted to kill you. I definitely wanted to kill you because you scared the shit out of me. Like, sorry.
Yeah, but like sometimes we just like don't want to like stir up things, so we're like, nah, it's fine, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? We deny our true anger.
I do. But the fact that he didn't immediately punch him in the face the second time he scared him, the first time, like, I would have been like, oh my God, that was so, like, ha ha ha. The second time, I definitely would have punched that guy for sure.
Well, what kind of person would you be if you punched a cancer patient?
This guy is an asshole, though. Okay?
Yeah, but
he's an asshole. And
still, Dana.
Like, it's my natural instinct. I can't control the fact that you scared me. If you fall down and I laugh at it, I can't control that. I can't help what I think is funny. You scared me. It's my natural instinct to punch you in the face.
Well, how about when he says, do you have anyone you want to make peace with? And I was like, oh, now he's going to kill him. Now he's definitely going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a moment where you were like, something's up here.
Right? Yeah. I was like, what the hell? And then he says,
oh, I think I'm good. I think I don't need to make peace with anybody. Thanks for asking, though.
No, but he actually says, the camera guy, he says that he has his ex, that he would like to make peace with his ex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then the fucking dude, the creepy dude, comes out and he says that he has an axe. You know? And then he says, do you think I would kill you with that axe, even just for a second? Like he says, when you came to the property, did you notice the axe? And then he was like, did you for a second think that I was going to kill you with that axe? Just for a second.
You know, here's the thing about that is like, I bet that probably wasn't even part of it until he saw him looking at the axe. Because, he was watching him, right? Like when he was like, watched him walk up to the house, watched him knock, didn't answer, watched him walk back, peeped him looking at the axe. And then was like, I'm gonna fuck with him later about that axe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy lies. The camera guy lies, and he was like, "No, I don't even know you. Like, why would I think that you would kill me? I don't even know you."
Right.
But they're in the woods.
This was sitting down at the diner. This was after the woods. They were sitting down at the diner when he asked them all that.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Because
no, they weren't. They were in the woods when this happened. Because the next part of my notes is they now at this point they've walked a very long distance and the camera guy starts complaining about not being able to find their way back. Okay. So then Joseph, now we know that his name is Joseph, the cancer patient, he keeps running off. And then all of a sudden he's standing on a cliff and he says, Aaron, the camera guy's name. He says, Aaron, you're not gonna ever believe this. And fucking Aaron goes and stands next to him on the cliff.
Yeah, fuck all that noise.
Right. I'm like, oh my God, the trust level, because he could just push you and you're fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
So then Joseph points to a heart-shaped hole in a rock down below and convinces the camera guy to go stand in the water with him. And they bless each other with the water. Like they have this like blessing because they're called the aguas milagrosas. They're supposed to be like this miracle waters, because it's like a heart stone. And I'm like, oh my God, he's trusting him with so much at this point.
Right.
You have to be pure of heart to be blessed.
Right.
Right. That
Right.
was why
right.
he asked if he wanted to make peace with anybody or something like that, because they wanted like clear conscience. That was sort of my thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everything is so explainable. Everything is like, bam, creepy. But then he has an explanation for it right after.
Right.
So then he writes J plus A in a rock.
Mhm.
You're like,
Yeah, no,
don't
to
love
all of
that.
no.
There were so many scenes where I was like hearing your voice going, didn't love that.
I don't love that at all. Not to like change the subject or anything, but I have this giant tree out in my front yard. It's like, you know, because you guys have to walk past it all the time.
Right.
My mom's gross, weird, long-haired old man boyfriend that she had before carved their initials into this beautiful tree, and like I have to look at it every morning, and I'm like,
Ooh.
I want to like dig it out, but like I also don't want to be like, can I dig out your initials of this tree because it's so weird and it grosses me out and like hurt my mom's feelings. But I also want to be like, he ruined this beautiful tree. It's like now home to a huge hornet's nest. But anyway, I think it's weird. Don't dig your name into a tree.
No, don't dig it. So, okay, so we're now out of the woods, and the next scene is they're at a restaurant. Okay, so they go to this restaurant, and the camera guy, Aaron, says, he says, where was I? Hold on. Oh, he says, let's see what they have here. And Aaron, Joseph says that he's first explaining that he's been there a couple times with his family over the years, and like, you know, he's very familiar with the place. But then he all of a sudden says, "Let's see what they have here." And Aaron says, "Didn't you say you used to come here with your family all the time?"
Right.
So he caught him in a lie.
Right.
And then
like
just
a really stupid one.
Right. But then Aaron explains it away. Not Aaron, Joseph explains it away and says, well, they might have changed the menu. So I'm just double checking. So it's all explainable.
Right.
And in
You
his
know?
defense, I don't know how many times I go to the same places and I still look at the menu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
an odd thing.
I
to
mean,
look at
I
the menu.
always still
Right.
look at the menu. It's very rare that I go in there and already know I'm definitely getting this. But every now and then they do specials or whatnot or change it.
Right. But
So yeah, that's the only reason why I was like,
Yeah.
right.
that one's weak,
but-
dude. That one's weak. If you want an excuse, there's 1,000 other
And there was a
ones
bunch
before
of
that
other
one.
really weird shit he's already done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Up until this point, everything has been like, is this weird or is it just me?
All right. Yeah, just keep an eye on the time.
Mhm.
It says
Go
less than a minute, but it's still recording.
All right, we'll just keep going. If it stops, then we'll start again.
Okay. So he gets Aaron to admit that he used to pee his pants. Aaron is the camera guy.
Right.
And he gets him to admit that he used to pee his pants and that his mom got him a sensor, you know, to like, and that was like very damaging to him because, you know, he used to pee his pants.
Right. Well, and he was like asking him like, do you ever feel shame? Is there a way that you feel? And I'm like, peeing your pants when you're a little kid is not like shameful. You know what I mean? Like,
He's just a kid.
I know, but like you're an adult now and you're like reflecting. Like if someone asked you as your adult life, like, is there a thing that you feel shame about? And you're like, well, as a little kid, I peed my pants. You're like, that's what you feel shame about? Like it was, even that was like a kind of a weird thing to say, I thought.
Right. But he's also
Hit and
is it
record.
recorded?
We were talking
Okay,
about, I
so-
was saying about the shame of him peeing his pants, and you were saying, you were about to say something.
Well, I was just gonna say that he said he was ashamed because he was on the monkey bars and
Right.
and he peed himself and the alarm went off and it made him feel ashamed.
Right. I
Mhm.
mean,
So then-
fair.
Wait, how come we had an echo?
I said it twice.
Oh, okay.
Fair.
She confused us that just enough to drive us crazy.
Yeah. So then so then Joseph says, "Can I have a turn?" And he gives him the camera, and he starts showing him pictures of Aaron as he came up to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And right, and
Right.
Aaron says, "Okay, but why? Like, why
why?
were you watching me?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph says, "I don't know. I suppose I was nervous. And if I got to know you before you got to know me, I would be less scared. And I'm sorry, and I'm ashamed of it." And I was like, that's a weird serial killer thing, but
All
also,
of this is weird. Yeah.
I understandable. Like, yeah, you're a vulnerable man. Like, you don't know this guy's a creep. And you
Yeah.
and I have done it where we watch
Yes.
somebody come up to the door.
Fine, but don't tell me about it. Why are you telling me about it? You telling me
Right.
about it is making this very weird.
Exactly. So, oh my God. There was not a second. This film did not go for more than a couple seconds without being extremely creepy.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then he sits and stares intensely.
Right. Which is like my worst case scenario is someone like just like making eye contact with me for like a long period of time. I'm like, I'll break every time. Like I don't want to
Right.
have,
Yes.
I'll break every single time. I don't want to. I think
But
this is
that's
it.
the difference between you and a psychopath. A psychopath won't.
Yeah.
Right. So then Aaron says, "It's a little weird, but I'm past it." And I'm like,
You're like, uh-huh, okay.
right. So then the weirdness escalates because next they're going up the stairs again. And Aaron says, "I think I'm going to head back. It's starting to get late." And Joseph says, "Oh, I was going to pour you a whiskey." So he tries to like, baby, it's cold outside him.
Blow it up. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron is like, "It's okay. It's a long drive." And Joseph begins to add pressure by saying, "Just one drink, okay? I mean, one drink and I'll send you on your merry way."
Right, yeah.
And Aaron, of course, does what we all would do. And he says, "Okay, one drink."
And this is where I wrote in big old bold letters, never take the drink.
Never.
No,
Never.
don't take the drink. If it's already been weird all day, count your blessings that you survived the day and get in the car and fucking go.
And the fact of the
Right.
matter is you haven't survived the day because you're still here, not
Yes.
able to leave.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So why be without the wits of you? Also, the drink could fucking be poisoned.
Yeah, we're definitely not drinking it. Yeah.
No.
Right. And especially since directly after he offers him the drink, Joseph scares him again.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then he's showing Aaron across from the table. Like he's like, okay, he's across from the table from him. And he asks what made him take the job, right? And Aaron says the money, like he needs the money, right? And he offers Aaron some more money. And Aaron says, "No, you can't," and Joseph insists. And he tells him, "Here's a check." There's a check in his, in his boot. And when Aaron goes to check, he says, "Gotcha." Like,
It's so fucked up. It's
I
so
know.
fucked up. Because it's like it's just like pointing out like how vulnerable you are. Like he's
Exactly.
vulnerable, he's in a weird, really fucked up position.
right.
Like of
right.
course we're all gonna be like, no, I can't take your money, but if you do need
Absolutely.
it.
Right, because he's got his pride too. So now
Right.
he's like losing his pride. Right. So then Aaron goes to leave and he's like, "Well, I think we're good. We got enough here." And Joseph says, "Aaron, are you leaving?" And then he says, "I lied to you." And Aaron goes, "About what?" And he goes, "Peach fuzz." He's like, "If I tell you something, will
Oh,
you promise
yeah.
not to tell another soul?" And then Aaron sits and turns the camera off, right? And there's like a black screen, but it's still recording the voice,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like he set the camera down, but he never stopped recording, right? And he's like, "I did something really bad." Go ahead, say it.
Because I was writing in exclamations, do not turn off the camera. Do not turn off the camera in this moment. Because I was like, no, you're dead. You're dead. You turn
Right.
off the camera, you're dead.
Right. So well, really, he would have been dead anyway, but the camera would have served as proof or evidence or whatever
Right.
if they
Right.
if the police got it or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So he says Joseph starts to tell Aaron, he's like, I did something really bad 4 years ago. The internet started to slow down at the house. And I was like, what? Okay, what does that have to do? He got bored.
Right.
So he says that he checked the browser history to fix the internet. You know, he just wanted to clear the browser and make it run a little faster, right? And he's like, the browser history might be full. So he opened up the internet and saw unspeakable things, animal pornography, right? And he said that his wife, he confronted Angela, his wife, and that she denied it. And he's like, I just knew it was her. And he's like, this lie drove a wedge between us. And he left Angela in the cabin by herself. And he said that he had been called into work. And he went to the dollar store and he found a wolf mask and he broke into the house through the back window and he tied her up and had animalistic sex with her. And she was so happy. And it didn't feel terrible. And he escaped through the window. And the next morning, when he asked how her night was, she said it was fine, and they never spoke of it. So I'm rushing through that to explain the whole little thing because it's a whole little clip, right? And then he says when he got back, the internet was back up to speed, and he was like, Aaron, I raped my wife. You know? And I was like, first of all, you had me at finding a high quality wolf mask at the 99-cent store.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, that's an easy $30 mask there. Easy.
Right. That's why I rushed through that whole rape scene, because the most unbelievable part of that was the dollar store fucking mask. I was like, I call bullshit on that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't focus on any of the rest of his lie because that was already the most blatant. But
and also the rest of it is an insane story.
It's an insane story. Like, how could you not know that that was your husband under the mask?
Of course first of all, if that even, well, we know she's not even a real thing, but
no, right.
If that really happened, you didn't rape her. She wanted to have sex with, like, in an animalistic way.
Right.
She did not say no, like, she loved it. She was all into it. B, what else? I don't know. That whole story was wild. Like, no one said she didn't know it was him. Of course she knows it's you. Like, even if, you know, like, it's not like she thought some random guy with a weird wolf mask came in to have sex with her after her husband caught her watching fucking bestiality porn. Like, yeah, come on. What? All of this is crazy, what you're saying.
Right. But in my mind, it was less crazy than the fact that he lied about his father and made up a song about it.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, yeah, I get it. You had sex with your wife and wore a mask, but let's talk about
the Peach Fuzz song.
Yeah, let's talk about the Peach Fuzz song and the fact that you made this up about your dad. That's way creepier to me than you having sex wearing a mask with your wife.
Right.
Okay. So then he what is it? I wrote, then cuts to wrap it up. Oh, so then he starts to wrap it up and Aaron snaps up and says, okay, we got enough, right? Because like this is awkward. So he starts to look for his car keys. He's like, enough is enough, right? He starts to look for his car keys. And Joseph starts to say, oh, I don't think that was good. I think we need another take, blah, 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 you know? And Aaron is desperately looking for his car keys. Like, at this point, he's just like, Jesus Christ, like he's praying under his breath. Right.
And if that's me, like, I'm flipping the fuck out.
Right. So then
I'm walking. I'm fucking walking. I don't care. I'm walking in the woods, in the dark. Sorry, I'm out of here.
Danny was watching it with me. She was saying the same thing.
No, we're YouTubing. I'm actually YouTubing how to hotwire a car at that point.
Yeah, we're fucking out of here. Either that or I'm sleeping in my car with the door locked, which also would work.
He has an axe right outside the
we gotta go. We gotta go.
Exactly.
So it was fast. So even if you ran down the steps, you might not make it because that guy was fast running. Brain tumor and all.
Yeah. But So then
Right.
Joseph said, Aaron says, "Did I freak you out with my rape story?" And Joseph says, "Did I freak you out with my rape story?" And Aaron says, "No." Right? And then fucking Joseph offers him to spend the night.
Yeah, that's where you're creeping me out, friend.
Right? And then
I mean,
he
like,
tells him,
I've
tells
known
him,
you guys for like a decade and I've never slept at your house. Like, it would be
No.
weird if I did, you know?
and
Like,
then he tells him he's drunk and he shouldn't drive, he should drive home in the morning. And he convinces Aaron to spend the night.
mm-mm.
And we're like, Aaron. So
Aaron, no.
right, but then Aaron, all of a sudden, he chills out. He's
Yeah.
been like real nervous and on edge the entire time, but all of a sudden
Right.
he chills out. And he pours Joseph a huge shot of whiskey and pours himself just a bit,
Right. Yeah.
But behind the scenes, he's drugging Joseph.
Joseph,
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Aaron's not so dumb. He's fucking defending himself. He knows that this is a creep, right?
Right, right.
So they go back to recording a message for the guy's kid, and he says that didn't make it weird. I'm sorry. He's like that. He says that didn't taste weird to you, like about the drink.
Oh, because he put the thing in his drink, yeah.
Yeah. And then we cut to
And
a
Aaron's
scene where he's, like asleep,
Yeah.
But he jumps up and goes back to sleep and then starts sleep talking and masturbating.
So wait a second. When he puts the whatever in Joseph's drink, that sort of made me be like, wait a second. Is he the bad guy? Like,
right?
You know what I
Right?
mean? I'm like,
You
wait a
there.
second, wait a second.
Right.
I was with you there at the same time because both, like I said, I was watching it with Danny, and both of us stopped and be like, "Uh-oh.
Right,
Who's
because
really
like
the
why
creep?"
did he have drugs to like make someone go to sleep? You know,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
Mhm.
that was
Like
weird.
who carries that? Who carries
Right.
drugs to drug somebody to sleep?
Right?
Right.
But also before that, when Aaron was drinking, I was noticing Joseph's cup was not going down or moving either. So he was not drinking.
Right.
When Joseph actually drugged him, he actually drank it that time.
Oh, okay.
Right. So then Joseph, who's the creepy guy, he goes to sleep. He's laying on his fireplace mantle and he's
Right.
just masturbating and touching himself and like sleep talking.
Disgusting.
And Aaron is walking around the house, checking his pockets, I guess, for keys,
for his keys, yeah.
Yeah. And like you get the vibe that Aaron is the bad guy a little bit. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah,
he's, like,
definitely.
right. And then the phone starts to ring and it's Angela. And we're like, oh, okay, that's his wife or whatever. There's somebody normal at the other end, right?
Yeah.
And she
Mhm.
asks for Joseph, and Aaron explains and what he's doing there and everything. Angela says, just leave right now. She says, just walk out and keep walking. My brother has problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, does she know that he's, so then you're thinking, okay, well, maybe he's mentally ill. He's not really
Right.
like a,
I mean, yes,
Pose
definitely.
an actual threat, right? And she basically tells him, you need to get out of the house right now. And he goes to leave. And now Joseph is awake. So
Right.
fuck, right? And he's nowhere in sight. We just know he's not sleeping on the mantle anymore, right?
Which is the most
So-
terrifying thing in the whole entire world.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Aaron is panning the place with his camera and he sees the back door is open slightly and he goes to open it and it's a deck and Joseph startles him once again by saying,
Asshole.
death, it's coming and there's nothing we can do. I don't
Yeah,
want to
he
die,
looks-
Aaron.
Crazy, yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And he starts crying on his shoulder. And Aaron says, I know. And Joseph says, you're such a good friend. And Aaron says, Joseph, I know what's going on. And I'm not angry. Just give me my keys and we'll take it from there. And Joseph immediately takes off running like a fucking wild animal. So
Maybe-
this is
Maybe
just,
he should have found like another set of keys and left in a different car, you know.
I don't know what the fuck I would have done at that point, but
Here's one thing I noticed. When they were heading to the mountains, they were in Joseph's car. They weren't in,
Okay.
I mean, they were in Aaron's car, not Joseph's car. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
Right,
Yeah, I
had
didn't notice
the
that.
yellow
Yeah.
car, and you could see that it was actually, they were in Aaron's car, and there's no thing of Joseph's car anywhere. So was there even another car
Was
that
there
he
even
could
a car?
steal
Yeah.
to go?
Right.
That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Aaron slowly goes to leave, and Joseph is now dressed with the wolf mask, standing in front of the door. And
Right.
Aaron says he's terrified, like he's fucking, I'm scared, man, I'm terrified. And Joseph starts growling and lunges at him. And then the
Fucking
camera
crazy.
cuts out as Aaron screams, "Stop it!" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The next scene is a ground angle of Joseph carrying 2 filled black garbage bags and a
Oh.
shovel. And he begins digging, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And
So
then
so you're led to believe.
you're led to believe that he's been murdered,
Yeah.
like, and that he's disposing of the body that way, right?
Right.
But then the next scene is Aaron, I guess some time has passed, explaining how Joseph ran off and how he had to get his car towed. And hold on, a few days later, he got that ground angle video in the okay, so he's back at home. He's, you know, he had to get his car towed. He's explaining how weird that situation was. And a few days later, he gets the video of Joseph carrying the garbage bags to the hole that he did, right?
Right.
And he gets that video in the mail, and he says he doesn't know how to interpret the video. He's like, is that supposed to be me? And he says he's gonna get rid of it and pretend it didn't happen, because now it's taking a turn on Joseph stalking Aaron.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. So hold on, my camera, my computer's about to go dead. Hold on, my bad. So now we realize that he survived the incident, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And now he's got this like crazy dude that's just,
Now you're on a whole different level of creepy, because now we're dealing with someone who behaves very
mentally ill.
bizarrely.
right.
Yeah, is definitely mentally ill or some type of fucking out of control. And not only is he stalking you, he knows where you live. He's coming to your house at like times where you're not hearing him, so you're like vulnerable in a weird way, and
Exactly.
it's bad. Yeah, this is bad.
So Aaron starts to have nightmares, right? And he
Yeah.
sits in his bed and explains it to the camera, like he's like living video footage of this. And someone left a package on his doorstep, and Aaron is afraid to open it. So it's a huge box, and it only has a knife and a CD, right? And on the CD, there's an apology.
Right.
And he says, if you haven't found the third element, dig a little deeper. And it's like a baby wolf, like a little stuffed animal.
Right.
And he says, he explains that he wants him to connect to his inner wolf. And he says there's a surprise inside the wolf, right? So Aaron opens, the whole time you're like, oh, there's a human heart, there's a fucking finger.
There's
like,
a finger, yeah.
Right. So everything is still pretty much innocent, right? So then Aaron opens it, and there's a locket inside. And
Okay.
it plays music, and there's 2 pictures inside of them, of the 2 of them, right? So he calls the cops.
All bad things. All
Right.
bad things.
So he calls the cops and explains about him, but there's not enough information to file a police report.
Right.
Like, I mean, nothing that he's saying is criminal yet.
My thing
Right?
is, the way he's holding the knife, it's like, why are you holding the knife that way? Why are you even holding the knife? Why didn't you dig deeper in the first place? Because that large ass box, and you only go in 2 inches and grab the knife and the DVD. That's all you do. You
Right.
don't go in the like 3 feet of peanuts in there. You know there's more. You know there's more. Why? Why? You know. So
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of everything. I think I put in quotations, murder wolf. Did he call it that at one point, or did I just name it that?
No,
Yeah.
I think
so
you named
yeah.
it. So then it's nighttime again, and Aaron is recording another nightmare, and he hears a sniff and stops mid-sentence. Like, bro, if I'm recording in the middle of the night in the darkness and I hear somebody go like that,
Yeah.
like sniffle, oh no, it's a rat, right? So he goes
Yeah,
back to recording,
definitely.
and he's thinking he must have imagined it, right? And now he feels something, and he turns the lights on because he feels something touch him, graze him or something. He turns the lights on. He grabs a knife and he says, is anybody here? Hello, Joseph? There's no answer, but Joseph is seen at the window on his door. And when Aaron enters the room, he ducks down. Like, how fucking creepy was that, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you are being stalked and you know you're being stalked or the creepy shit is coming to your house, why are you not covering up your windows? I mean, that
Right?
is a
Like,
full
there's a lot of
work.
like,
And then you could see there's a metal door that's in front of that. So I feel like you could have closed that metal door, serve a little bit more protection. I don't know.
Right.
You seem to not be as scared enough, white boy.
so he grabs his camera and he opens the door where Joseph was standing, and he records to the outside of the apartment. Like, he literally leaves his door open and goes
Right.
out and records the whole perimeter of his apartment. I'm like, you just left your fucking door unlocked. Like,
Yeah, so now this motherfucker's in your bed, sniffing your
right?
shit.
He walks down the path calling for Joseph. Like, no,
Yeah.
motherfucker, Joseph is now slipped into your
Now
fucking...
Joseph knows exactly where you are.
Right. Yeah, I wrote, dude, you left your fucking door open. With three
Danny's
exclamations.
yelling at this point. She's yelling at him on the TV
Right?
as he's going down the sides of the street.
Yeah, get your shit together, bro.
Yeah.
So
No.
then he sees his trash has been flipped over, and he thinks that it's cats, and he goes back home. He's like, oh, this must have been cats, you know?
Yeah, it must have been cats, yeah.
Right. So the next scene is Aaron asleep, and someone is recording him. Like,
Nice.
bro, that is a thing of nightmares. That somebody's
Yeah.
like standing over you, recording your normal.
While
Right.
you're sleeping, when you have no clue, you can't protect yourself, you're just, it's bad.
So it's at this time that Joseph cuts a lock of his hair. Like, what in the world, right?
That's some witchy shit right there.
Right. So Aaron says he's been sleeping okay, like he finally got to sleep, and he notices that his screen is torn and there's a CD in his window, and it's called The Lost Video. And I'm like, how are you sleeping better at this point?
Right.
You know? And he's like,
Definitely.
it's Joseph, and he says he's heartbroken about Aaron throwing out his locket, and he's apologizing and saying that he's done, and he says that he doesn't know what's wrong with him. He says that he saw doctors and none of that helped him, and then he says he doesn't have any friends or family, and he wants a chance to talk to him, and he says he will be at Lake Gregory, and it's a public place, and he's like, you don't have to be afraid because I'm a lonely, sad person and I just really need a friend. Right?
Nah,
and
bitch.
Aaron says,
Nah,
what the hell am I
bitch.
supposed to do with this? You know?
Ah, that feels like a
You-
you problem.
That sounds like if you have a lease, break the lease. If you don't, if you own the place, sell the place, go away.
Right.
It's like
I
a
could
whole
see
go away
being-
situation.
Yeah, I could see being lured to a place if we had a relationship, like a real relationship, not like I met you one time, you know, and you wanted to be like, hey, I've been being weird. Let me apologize. Meet me at a restaurant. Like, maybe I could see being like, you know, my ex or something, like, you know, but like you met this guy one fucking time. He's been nothing but creepy from the moment you met him till he's been stalking you for weeks. No,
Right.
no,
Right.
definitely
But
not.
but Aaron says, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Like, look at him. He's so sad, right? So he
Not your
immediately,
problem.
Video and put it in the trash.
right, but he immediately goes to the second location.
Asshole.
And he says, know that I'm recording this and that my phone is on speed dial to 911. Like,
Great.
if that matters to Aaron, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, great.
so the next scene, Aaron is walking towards a bench on the lake, and it's desolate there. It's not a public place. It's a public place, but it's not like nobody's around.
Right.
And he hears a chainsaw in the distance, and he goes and turns around, and he goes back to looking on the lake. Oh, somebody must be doing some yard work or whatever, right? But it's like he still has that creepy feeling, but he's explaining it away. Like, you know, he's not listening to the nervousness in his belly. And then next you see there's someone standing, like it's Joseph standing behind him, and he's wearing the wolf mask. But Aaron doesn't realize this because he's just staring ahead at the lake, you know, thinking his thoughts.
Right.
So he's just standing there, Joseph in his wolf mask, and he pulls out an axe and he holds it up and hits Aaron right on the head with it.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
That's it. Yeah.
The next scene, it cuts to Joseph recording himself saying, "Why didn't you just turn around?" He says, "Because you believed I was good and I would do you no harm. And that is why you will always be my favorite of them all." They showed the scene of Aaron dead on the bench. And then there's a scream somewhere where he discovers Aaron's phone, right?
Right.
Like there's like the scream scene. He discovers Aaron's phone, and you cut to the next scene when he's soliciting his next victim, and they show a cabinet full of these videos of the victims that he's killed in a similar fashion.
Right.
And I was just like, what the actual fuck?
Right.
Like that's a scheme. Like he was running a scam.
I mean, he's like a serial killer in like the most organized, most like, what are those little things like that they like to do? Those little
they record keeping, they keep those souvenirs.
Sort of like a souvenir, but like a tick that they like have to do or whatever.
Right.
I didn't hear what you said, Cindy.
Oh, no, it wasn't the same.
What did you say?
I can't think of the word, but like a signature. That's what they like, a signature. Like he has these like specific things that he's doing. It's like the most like weirdest fucking little things, and he like has done it over and over and over again, and it works because like you said, socially we're like, I don't want to be rude, I don't want to be rude, I don't want to be rude.
Also, they can't be linked back to him because he lets them get out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he lets them leave. So the second time that they're not killed right after his meeting with them.
Also, they're probably not, his name is probably not Joseph.
Right.
You know, so like he's reporting it to the police like, oh, this guy that I did this work for, his name is Joseph, he lives here. And the police are like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, bud. Like,
right. And the address that they go to is an Airbnb. He just rents these random places.
Right.
Under this random name. So how are you going to find them? How are you going to find them? You're not. And then like the stuff, okay, he's stalking them, but it's always like very innocent things that he's doing.
Right.
So enough to stay under the police radar where you don't have enough to do it. And that should scare the living daylights out of me. Because I literally did that.
You literally did what?
I answered a Craigslist call.
Come on, man.
And went to the second location. I literally did all of that.
You do that shit all the time because you're like selling things online, and you know, we do that kind of shit all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
So scary. Oh my God.
Cars. Uber, right? You hop in strangers' cars.
Yeah.
You count on strangers to deliver your food.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you are a target for any one of these weird people. You know how many times do we order takeout and then we don't have all the money and we just invite them right into our foyer and just be like, oh, wait right here, you know, especially in the winter time.
I never.
Yeah, I do that. I'm like, come on in, because my dogs are gonna run out and I don't want to like keep, you know, and I'll just like have them standing in my foyer.
I mean, I would think like they wouldn't want to come in. Like if I was a delivery person, delivery driver, whatever, I would not want to go into someone's house. Like that would be creepy for me.
Yeah, but you're a female and most delivery drivers are male. So and I'm a female. So I'm like letting these delivery drivers just come right into my house. Like, oh, come on in.
That
No.
sounds like a whole bunch of no's. I leave them on the porch. Y'all can stay out there. I'll come out there to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have a porch. I have like, well, I do.
I don't have a porch
too.
either, but
And they can
you're not
stay on
also
the
not coming.
steps.
To be fair though, I'm like saying all this and I've like let full ass like people that are selling fucking vacuum cleaners come in my house and vacuum my bed in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
like, you know, we're
and then
not,
I write them a check for $6,000.
right. We're not invulnerable to these things. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
definitely not.
but it's just that wanting to be polite, that whole,
Right.
you know.
I mean, like, not to talk about other podcasts, but like that is the thing that like My Favorite Murder really nailed was that like fuck politeness is like, yeah, because that's the way we like, and this movie like perfectly encompasses that is like you will go very far to not be rude or not say something rude or to make someone else uncomfortable, and like I'll eat food that I know is not what I ordered or how I wanted it cooked, or like, you know, just because I'm like, don't say anything, it's fine, you know.
Right. Exactly. Because you don't want to be a Karen, you know.
Right.
But you know, I think that we need to think a little bit, to be less polite, I guess. I don't know, man. Fuck politeness. Like, you could get killed. Like, if anybody's weird, you need to come at them and just be like, no, you're creeping me out. Like, stop that.
I will tell you that like I don't often like fuck yourself. I will tell you that I don't often take Uber and Lyft. Like, I don't really have a reason to often take Uber and Lyft.
Right.
But like I did from the airport the other day, and you know, like back and forth to the airport, and like two places that I didn't walk just because I had walked all week. And you do like there are more things that make you feel safer with the Lyft and the Uber, in that like you can watch the route on your phone now, and they can watch the route, like they have the route up in the car so you can see where they're going, and then it's like take a picture of the person's license plate, and then like you can submit that to Lyft to make sure the right car picked you up. Like there's all of these like precautions and things that I was like,
Right.
wow, that's actually pretty interesting. Like the last time I took Lyft was like probably a few years ago, so that stuff wasn't happening as, I don't know, I just thought it was a lot of cool advancements for something like that's making
Yeah, because they've had to, because a few murders have happened that way. We should actually cover that.
I know that there was like a creepypasta. I don't know like if it was a true story or whatever the case was, but there was a really good creepypasta or something that I had read on like Tumblr or something, where the girl was saying that she got into an argument with her boyfriend, her and her friend, they were at a bar, and her friend got picked up early. Her friend was really drunk, and they got a Lyft, and then the Lyft pulled up, they got in the car, and then they realized that the guy was driving like in a different direction than what the thing was. And then she was like looking at the description of the car and realized that they just like got in some random person's car that wasn't a Lyft driver.
Well, that may have been a creepypasta, but that actually did happen, and the guy killed the girl.
That's what I was like, I'm not sure if it was a real story or not, but I was like, oh my God, that was fucking scary. So like every time I got in the Lyft, I made sure I like verified the license plate number before I got in it, you know?
Yeah. So they had to put a lot of precautions in place because of that, because the girl was coming out of a bar and she just hopped into the car thinking that it was her Lyft driver, and the guy killed her. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We should cover stories of that, because that's happened a few times. We are now running out of recording time. Zoom is about to kick us off. But if you haven't seen Creep, go fucking watch that, because you'll be watching yourself lead yourself to the second location. You're gonna be like, yep, I would have done that.
There's a second one.
There is a part 2.
Yeah.
Oh shit, is it the same actor?
I don't know, but it just said, I just saw Creep Part 2, so maybe you can have us over and we'll do like a watch party or something.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Do you want to add something, Cindy?
Maybe that could be the AMA.
Yeah, if
Okay.
everybody wants to get on and watch Creep, that would be a good idea.
That would be fun.
Mhm.
Cindy,
would be
did
fun.
you want to add anything? All right, so that's
All
it
right.
for us.
All right, see you
Go
next
watch
month, bitches.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks for dining with us. See you next month.